Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, Sabrina Daly and Isani Caetano.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Sabrina Daly.
And I am Isani Caetano. Good morning.
And good morning, Isani. Let's jump straight into it. We have loads of conversations to look forward to this morning, starting off with the Ministry of Sustainable Development speaking on national land restoration. Also, Kaj Expressions is going to be in the house, and they're going to be here to talk about crafting a creative future. Also, Restore Belize heals communities with education and intervention. And the hot topic this morning is, does the 13th Amendment protect minority rights or put them at greater risk? Isani, how you doing?
Good morning. I'm good. I'm great, actually.
Yeah, it's midweek.
Productive week.
Productive week so far.
We're at Wednesday, and I still feel as though I'm supercharged and high off of momentum that I've built since the beginning of the week. And I'm proud of that.
You know what?
Proud of that.
I'm proud of you too. But we do have some topics that we can jump into for things we think you guys should know before you leave your homes. Starting off with UB Union marching to Prime Minister's office demanding a 10% subvention. Also, over 150 Maya artifacts returned to Belize after U.S. exhibition tour. Tracy Panton fires back as UDP riff deepens, and Belizean women lead a seaweed revolution. And of course, we can't forget that last night was KTV The Remix, night 2 of our live shows. It was also Reggae and Caribbean night, and it was a jam-packed Bliss. Last night looked like it was so much fun over at the Bliss.
Yes. I saw my friend Tim August doing his reggae rendition. I never thought from cooking to karaoke, but hey, if it's on your bucket list, it's something to get done in your lifetime, right?
I absolutely agree.
But I want to talk about what's happening with the UBFSU and their demand for the subvention, the $10 million that was promised to them by the current government. So on Monday, I was discussing the fact that it would have seemed as if though they're sort of late out of the gate. I say that simply because we were dealing with the unions and the uproar over salary adjustments and minimum wage and all these other demands that the joint
pensions,
unions are, including the KHMH with the pensions, you're right. And it seems as if though the UBFSU sort of came out of nowhere. At least that's what perhaps many would have thought. But the union president, Juliana Passos, made it clear yesterday in her interview as to why they are where they currently are in terms of this clamoring for the government to be able to honor this promise, so to speak, right? So the UBFSU, for all intents and purposes, seems considerably smaller in number or membership than any of the other unions. It doesn't nonetheless make their concerns any less important than the other sister unions, right?
Certainly.
So from what you're seeing here, you saw solidarity from other union representatives with the UBFSU. And it comes at a time where the government has also made it perhaps abundantly clear that it would really have to do some looking around and some digging to find these monies, right? So
10 million
yes,
to be exact.
outside of what was being asked by the joint unions,
Yeah.
right? Outside of what is being demanded by the KHMH workers union as well. But this is something that we're watching closely. We're looking at the country's #1 tertiary institution, right? In as much as we were looking closely at the country's #1 referral hospital. So they're sort of in the same boat, right? These are the premier institutions, so to speak, and they're having a gripe with the government of Belize.
I'm wondering how far this could potentially go. They're asking for a high figure, $10 million for their subvention that they feel that is overdue, a decade ago, in fact. I take your point, though, that you mentioned on Monday as well as today, where it seems like they're a little bit late when it comes to standing up for what they feel they deserve. I think it would have been smarter for them to join with the other unions, especially the Belize National Teachers Union.
Yeah, you're right. But going back to what I was saying earlier, the UBFSU president explained in the interview given yesterday that there was a reason, right? A promise was made, and so at the time when the other unions were in an uproar over what they were demanding, the UBFSU at that point really didn't have, they were still holding on to the word given to them by the Briseno administration.
Yeah.
And when they received word afterwards, fairly recently, that, well, it don't look like it happened the way you want it to happen,
Yeah.
it puts them in this particular situation.
The argument coming from the government is, hey, we actually support the University of Belize. We have provided several funding to the university, but the teachers or the staff on the ground are saying, look, we need more. We haven't gotten a raise in so long. And I think at this juncture where they're currently at, they will need the support of the other unions to ensure that their voices are heard and that they're taken seriously.
Yes.
$10 million is a lot of money. And the timeline, if they're giving a timeline to the government for that to be given to them, I think they will need more voices on the ground.
I think of primary concern is the issue of low morale. You can't go to work day in, day out, knowing that something looms over your head, it hasn't been addressed, and then you're still expected to perform at an optimum, right? It's almost as if though you are in a situation as an employee, there's an appraisal looming over your head, right? And perhaps you believe that what you've put in warrants an adjustment in your salary, but you're being kicked around in terms of having an issue addressed. But then the company still expects you to come to work every day and give it your best, even though there's this issue hanging over your head.
So what's the
Perhaps
worst
it's a
case
similar-
scenario? Are we going to see, because I believe, I
that's
think
what I'm
a question
concerned about.
was also posed to Giuliani. What would their actions be? Are they planning to stage a go-slow? And I believe she didn't exactly say if they were going to make any particular stand, but they did say, look, anything could potentially happen at this point.
So yes, that is exactly my concern when I'm
Yeah.
talking about low morale. Because I wouldn't want to be a student, nor would I want to be the parent of a student who's attending UB. You've invested this money in your child's education, right? And then because of what's taking place, the lecturers and the staff and whomsoever aren't putting in what they're supposed to be putting in so that my child, or the student in this case, fully gets what they're invested in.
I think the emphasis on this should be the money's invested as well, because university costs
Well,
a
that's
lot of
what I'm-
money.
that's what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, and I think that is something that we should be having a conversation about when we think of wanting these universities we want Belizeans and people here to choose our tertiary level a university. I think it's important to recognize that these educators also need to be paid what they're due as well. There are a lot of educators there with PhDs, with master's degrees, and they are more than capable to be there as an educator, but they deserve what their pay as well. And so this is something that we are closely following, and as we get any further updates, we will be providing that to you guys as well. But on more of a lighter note, there was also a fantastic story that was shared last night in our newscast. This was a partnership as well. I saw you on the ground, Isani, speaking to some aquatic farmers, is what I'll call them.
Nice way of putting it. So we've embarked on a partnership with the Belize Fund for a Sustainable Future. And the company, we're through this partnership looking at the work that is being done by the Belize Fund and various organizations, environmental and community-based and otherwise, in terms of the Blue Bond Initiative, in the context of the Blue Bond Initiative, right? So this one took me to Placencia, where a group of women came together in 2019 to form the Belize Women Seaweed Farmers Association, right? And I'm floored in terms of what these women have been able to accomplish and the support that they've been able to get from various corners of civil society and what have you, in terms of being able to see their ambitions through. Right? So yes, I was down in Placencia over the weekend. I spoke with Jalima Gold, who is the president of the association. And this thing for her is a labor of love, right? And it's not only her. Like I said, it's a collective of women, younger folks as well as men. But this is led primarily by women, right? And so they've been looking at what is called mariculture. Just like how we have agriculture, we have aquaculture, you have mariculture, right? So seaweed is one of those products that comes from mariculture. And all of this is being done in a sustainable way, arguably in the most sustainable way, right? And what you're looking at there are value-added products that derive from seaweed. So a lot of times when we think seaweed, two things come to mind, at least for me.
I'll find out right now.
Sargassum, and two, seaweed shake.
I was thinking seaweed shake.
Right? Two things that automatically come to mind when you think about seaweed.
Gone are the days of just thinking of seaweed as seaweed that you drink.
Yeah, but it's well beyond that.
Yes.
And so its many uses oftentimes go overlooked. Right? So when you look at soap manufacturing, for instance, right, and other beauty care products and stuff, they use the gel that they're able to extract from the seaweed in those products, right? And many other health benefits come from seaweed. But again, to me, the draw here is that this is something that is taken up by women down in Placencia, right? And the idea is that at some point they would want to make it a national movement. But you have to start from somewhere, right? You know how this thing goes. You have to start somewhere, galvanize the support, and then be able to expand it across whatever field or space. In this case, it's across the country.
And I think there is an absolute potential for that to take place. It was just, I believe, last week that we had Beltrade on the show with us, highlighting women that would be going to Las Vegas for an event to highlight seaweed products as well.
It is directly tied to this.
And so that's just an example of how we could really support this movement. I'm hoping for the day to come where we could really see more products coming out of sargassum, because gracious goodness, it's an eyesore. We just saw most recently that sargassum was as close to us here in Belize City. And so
well, it's on the brink of being declared an emergency.
Yeah, and so please, let's get innovative and come up with something for that.
While you're on that sargassum note though, since we're still talking seaweed, right?
Yeah.
A year or so ago, perhaps, we were in talks with a Mexican
about
who
the
was able to manufacture blocks and what have you. And I was watching a documentary fairly recently where this individual has been able to manufacture and give away homes in Mexico, in his home state.
We did a story on that, did we not?
Yes.
I believe we did, yes.
In terms of the consultation with him to see what could be done with our sargassum, right? But yes, so I'm saying that this individual has built brick homes and given away brick homes that are manufactured out of sargassum, right? I don't know. in Belize, sargassum seems very plentiful. So if it's an industry to tap into,
Let's build some homes.
the
Let's do
natural
it.
resources, the raw stuff, the raw material is there in abundance.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I will help you shovel the first bunch. But we do want to move into KTV The Remix. And I know that a lot of you were in attendance for the live show, Night 2 of KTV The Remix Season 7, where reggae and Caribbean music took center stage. We also know that 2 persons were eliminated, but we saw some star-studded performances, y'all. There you have Tafara Lindo again at the second week, walking away with the highest score. I believe she got 3 9s. And so fantastic job to her. She really did her thing last night. I believe she sung a song from, dang it, I can't remember the name. It's Tessan Chin. Okay. Here, listen to that.
Secret hideaway.
Yeah, I know. We tend to read the same songs over and over. This is a hard song to sing.
Very
but
difficult.
But she did so good, Isani, for her to get 3 9s.
Okay, so I'll say this, right? The Chin sisters, Tessan and Tommy Chin, are very difficult acts to follow, right? When you listen to the original song and how it was delivered as a hybrid between rock and reggae, I don't think anybody could touch that and come as close.
Well,
to
I gotta say,
it.
kudos to you, girl, because you did so good last night. And I'll tell you, one of the things I love about Miss Lindo is her facial expressions. She sings, and then she sings with her face too. And I love that. I love the expression. And this is something that we oftentimes, we ask for these performers to get on stage and engage with the crowd and use the stage. She uses the stage. So kudos to her. It was super fun. These are some the other contestants. And speaking of what you spoke of being a hybrid with rock, next week's genre is rock and roll. And so I am excited about that one. It was actually the judge's choice, I understand. And so I'm just really excited about the way that the show is going so far, to see that we are getting the support from the public as well. They're coming out. I understand even the top of the floor, the building as well, jam-packed with people.
That's the exciting part about it, right? We're only week 2 in terms of the live audiences, but we've been able to bring a crowd out to the Bliss.
Yeah.
That's good. I hope we keep that momentum and that energy going, right?
And that's in person. Online is a totally different experience. Of course, there are persons tuning in on YouTube, on their just local cable stations, as well as on Facebook. And so it's been really fun seeing the comments as well. People really get excited about KTV because they have an opportunity to post about it.
Yes.
So they give their little views on the side, and I always get a kick about it. So I'm excited for them. And we just want to remind you, though, that your vote matters. Please do not forget that just saying that they deserve to win isn't enough. You have to actually vote to ensure that they continue in this competition. And so please, if you have a favorite, ensure that you cast that vote. And the deadline to do so is at midnight on Sunday. But that does it for some of the things we think you should know before you leave your homes this morning. And moving things along, we have a weather update for you, courtesy the National Meteorological Service. Alrighty, okay, today's weather forecast calls for mostly sunny skies today and clear to partly cloudy skies tonight. Shower activity, if any, will be isolated. In terms of today's temperatures, coastal temperatures can expect a high of 90 degrees and a low of 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Inland, it's going to be a bit warmer with 94 degrees Fahrenheit and a low of 74 degrees. In the hills, it's 80 degrees Fahrenheit for the highs and a low of 68. Much cooler temperatures in the hills. I'm a little bit jealous, I won't lie. Moving things along, our extended forecast is looking like some warmer temperatures during the daytime. We can expect a high of up to 90 degrees and inland also a high of up to 95 degrees. But the lows will be going to as low as 74. Our astronomical forecast: the sun rose this morning at 5:26 a.m. and is set to set at 6:30 p.m. The moon is also going to set at 10:41 a.m. and rise at 10:51 p.m. Our marine conditions: the sea state is slight and the winds are blowing from the east at 5 to 10 knots. The tides: today's low tide will be at 8:06 a.m. Another high tide or a high tide will be at 1:56 p.m. Another low tide at 8:21 p.m. and tomorrow another high tide at 2:28 a.m. And that does it for our Eye on the Weather. Again, this comes from the folks at the National Meteorological Service. Isani, back to you.
All right, guys, when we return, our first conversation will be about national land restoration, as we'll be joined by representatives from the Ministry of Sustainable Development.
This is the new era of the Mexican Caribbean. A whole spectrum of colors and hues, multi-dimensional cuisine, holographic beaches. The true new era is within you.
Oh man, one more scroll and my data is done.
Wait, who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data, so you can scroll till your fingers cramp. Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
We at Fulltech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Fulltech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
Welcome back. Our first conversation this morning is all about watersheds and being able to preserve water. We have been joined in studio with us this morning by Ida Sosa. She's the project manager for the Ministry of Sustainable Development. Good morning.
Good morning.
And she is joined by Michael Lund. He's a deputy resident representative of the UNDP in Belize. Good morning.
Good morning.
And of course, our returning guest, Tanil Hendy. She is a principal hydrology officer. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
So I understand that the ministry is embarking upon a project.
Correct.
One that promises to be beneficial to all Belizeans. Perhaps we can begin with you, Ida, with an explanation of what it is that we're doing about watersheds in Belize.
Okay, well, I can speak specifically to this watershed. But the Jeff 6 project is something that we've been working on for the past 2.5 years. So it's actually at the middle. It finishes off in 2027, early 2027. But we're at that juncture within the project where it's the executing aspect where we go into the community to actually give some kind of awareness when it comes to the use of the watershed. And so the Belize watershed, and I'll ask Ms. Hendy to jump in after this because she'll be able to give far more. But the Belize River watershed is basically one that provides the population with most of the water that we drink. And I'm more than sure that you could give him more statistics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it did laugh. But yeah, so what that does is, because it is something that it's important to us, it is something that we definitely have to preserve. We need to take care of that watershed. And so we're trying to involve the communities within this project, building their capacity and helping them to come up with some projects that will actually have them using the area in particular, but sustainably. There's so much happening, land degradation and all that. So it's basically us trying to help them, help us as well. So it's a two-way street. So the project is basically overall that.
Is that how it ties into national land restoration?
Correct. Very, very much so. And so that a lot of what happens in that area is literally linked to that. And so we're using this Jeff 6 project, especially that area, also as a pilot overall, in the sense that whatever comes out of this, a feasibility study comes out of this, we can then use the lessons learned and all of these things to other areas, other watersheds.
All right. Well, we have Ms. Hendy here with us to speak about what watersheds are. We have watersheds all over the country.
Yes.
But let's talk about how it is used.
Okay, so the project is focusing on the Belize River watershed, and we like to say the greater Belize River watershed.
Okay.
Because the Belize River watershed itself is formed by two different rivers.
That come together.
So we have the Makal and the Mopan joining, and then we have the Belize River. So we often refer to the entire system as the Belize River, but that's hydrologically incorrect. So what we're looking at is all the activity that is happening within those watersheds. We're looking at, water demand. We're looking at water supply. What is the productive sector doing? And, how can we sustainably manage it? Because sometimes when we say preserve or conserve, it's like don't use it. Mm-hmm. But that is not the goal. The goal is to sustainably use it, because if we don't use it, then we basically don't have any activity within those watersheds. And we need that activity.
Do we include pollution as a thing that we're also looking at carefully in terms of the watershed?
Yes, it's very comprehensive. When it comes to hydrology, water management, we need to look at the entire picture. It cannot be myopic at any point, because we're going to miss an input either in taking out or providing to that watershed. So we need to look comprehensively at it. So one of the outputs from the hydrology component is that we're looking at a water master plan. Now your master plan tells you how much water you have, quantifying it, what's the quality of that water, and what can or can I not do within that watershed that would impact the water resources. So we definitely need to look at pollution, because if you have a lot of dirty water, nobody wants to use that in Belize. You know, we avoid those situations. So we want to look at what we have and see how we can sustainably allocate that to the users within that watershed.
I have a curiosity, and perhaps this is something that many of us take for granted, that the Belize River watershed has an abundance of water, especially when you're looking at the confluence of two river systems to form the Belize River.
Yeah.
It would seem as if, though, we got a lot of water.
Right, and you know, from a young child, that's what we've been saying, but you have an abundance relative to your population size.
Gotcha.
So the more population you have an increase in the demand, but you don't necessarily have an increase in the supply. So if you have a population boom in any particular area, you could experience water scarcity. You could experience water scarcity just based on the topography, the geology, and that's what we're seeing in the Toledo district. And it's kind of like ironic, because they receive the highest rainfall in the country. So you don't expect that they would have a water scarcity issue, but it does exist. And their population size is not that large.
So what causes the water scarcity then?
It's like multiple factors. It's like a whole lesson on how you have water scarcity arise from different combination of factors. The most vivid one is the absence of rainfall. Second, in terms of groundwater, you have hills and valleys on the surface, you have hills and valleys beneath the surface. You also have your geology. So if you have karst, which is like a sponge, the water doesn't stay there, it passes through very quickly. So you don't have that reservoir right at the top. And then you have to look at how much you're taking out. How deep do I need to go? I think the deepest well that we have, that we know of, is 400 feet.
Where is this located?
And that's in the north in Carmelita Village.
Wow.
We have some other artesian wells. There's one by Crooked Tree. You know, depending on the rainfall, you might see like a geyser sometimes.
Yeah.
We have in Consejo, there was also another artesian well. But I mean, this all goes back to what we're trying to do. We need to quantify our water resources. We need to know what's the variability and the spatial aspect of that.
That sounds super scientific, Tenille. How do we begin to look at the volume of water in terms of being able to quantify it?
It's very expensive, I can tell you that. And we have 7 major aquifers in this country. Conservative estimate, it might take like $1 million to look at one, because you have to drill very deep boreholes. These superficial wells that we have below 100 feet is not getting into the aquifer. That's like superficially. It's part of your water table, if you want to see. So to go deep, and we know the cost of drilling wells per foot. And so if we're looking at average 400 to 800 feet for a monitoring well, we can do the maths. And it would work out very, very expensive to do that.
Well, we do want to get Michael in the conversation. It's been exciting getting the background information, but we have to understand the role that UNDP plays in this as well.
Thank you, and good morning. Yeah, so UNDP is a proud partner of this project. As you know, UNDP is a global development organization. We're in 170 countries and territories around the world. So we have a very broad technical expertise that we can bring in. We help with the designing of the project. We can bring in other expertise. And then in Belize, we've been here since independence. So we also have a very deep roots in Belize. And we have 2 portfolios in UNDP. We have one on governance, digitalization, and inclusive growth. And then we have one that is for this area, which is about nature, climate, and energy, that is supporting this project. And if I can just make a public service announcement, if you don't mind, we have a vacancy as the head of that portfolio. So if there are any of your viewers who are experts in this area and would like to work for UNDP, keep an eye out. Next week we're going to have that vacancy out. So we work very closely with the government. Obviously, the Ministry of Sustainable Development is our biggest partner, and including in this portfolio. And then when it comes to Jeff. Jeff, people might think, who's this guy, Jeff? Jeff actually means the Global Environment Facility, and it's a very big fund It replenishes every 4 years, and last time there was a replenishment had 5.3 billion worldwide. And UNDP is one of the agencies, actually the biggest UN agency to receive money from the GEF. And help with, we're one of the 18, what they call 18 GEF agencies who can receive the money and then work with national governments to implement projects just like this one. And I saw you, Isani, you were in Placencia.
Yes.
So also the Belize Women's Farmers, Seaweed Farmers Association was also a project that we supported. If you're on the boat, that's likely to have been donated from the Small Grants Program, which is also a GEF funded activity or program that we have that funds smaller projects like that.
Nice.
Just on the GEF, I just wanted to give really a shout out to the funding that is available from GEF, and they're in a replenishment next year. And it's with everything goes on in the world, it's a little bit tight. We're a little bit nervous that how much funding is going to be available, because they are really an important source of funding for countries like Belize and other development countries. So the more we can do like this to highlight all the good work that the Global Environment Facility is supporting is really valuable.
I want to focus a bit more on the sustainability aspect of this all, because there's been a major push, not only regionally but nationally, to educate Belizeans in this case about the importance of sustainability in development and in other facets as well. When we're looking at this particular initiative where we're seeking to preserve water, and you put that against the fact that sustainability has to be in front of that, how do we get this message to our people? Because in our minds, we're thinking, because it feels like an abundant resource, it's easy for us to simply use it and forget about it. We're not thinking about the source may very well be diminishing as we go along.
Okay, so you'll have me put on a bit of my climate change hat.
Which is fine.
Okay, there are two parts. When it comes to this project in particular, one of the main focus is looking at the communities and trying to give them some awareness. I mean, they're the ones who are living there. They're the ones that we need to be policing that area in a sense, supporting the government and having that type of partnership. So one of the things that the project is doing is actually doing community work, awareness work, having like training happening there, and so we have partners like the FCD. FCD's name, Friends for Conservation and Development. You have Belize Livestock Producers Association, who's basically training a lot of farmers, and they're targeting, of course, that area, but on a whole, nationally, livestock farmers in sustainable ways of livestock grazing, kinda. Then you have Ministry of Agriculture, who is talking about climate resilient crops and that type of thing, climate smart technology. Then you have, of course, our friend on the side from hydrology. We also have the National Biodiversity Office. I hope I'm not missing. Department of Environment, Forest Department. So it's a whole holistic approach that we're taking when it comes to the awareness and the capacity building aspects of it within that area. However, on the other side, what we're trying to do, and it's going to be a spin-off. So in the end of August, we're going to have a climate week. The ministry is having a climate week. It's something that we've been doing for the past 3 years. And this year we're actually building that up, where it's looking at adaptation resilience. So it kind of hangs and goes in together with the project in a sense, where we'll be highlighting specifically day 3, the biodiversity aspect, where we're going to be doing a lot of panel discussions, networking shows. We were actually discussing that yesterday. We want to highlight this to the nations, who will be inviting people to come in, and that's step 1. That's just a part. And then we have a full-blown awareness campaign that we want to start. So it's going to be bringing out all these messages that come out of this project, not only to the community, but nationwide. So those are some strategic moves we're trying to make right now.
What's the buy-in from the public looking like? I mean, you spoke keenly about the communities needing to be involved and having to have a sense of buy-in with this, especially since they rely on the watershed as well for various reasons. You spoke about agriculture, you spoke about forestry. I think even fisher folks as well rely on it too. So Are we seeing a buy-in from the community?
I think it's been slow because it's difficult when you have people who are set in their ways, especially at the community level, and so it's trying to let them see it a bit differently, more from an outside aspect as opposed to just right within the community. So I think that's an approach that we're going to try to make. So like I said, FCD has been doing the groundwork, or the beginning of the work. Next week, Monday, actually, we are going to be visiting Belize River Valley and and it will be the entire group. So it's about 6 or 7 of us from the different departments who are going to be there, having that conversation with the community leaders. So the step up to that is going to start. So what we can do is maybe come back in like 6 months and tell you how it went or what's the change.
You know, I think the challenge where communities are concerned and people on the ground are concerned is we are explaining to them the long-term effects if we don't protect what we have now. And oftentimes we're speaking to people who are trying to use this resource available to them for their livelihoods in the short term. And that's where it gets extremely challenging. When we think of land restoration, for example, people living closer to these watersheds, wanting to use their properties for whatever reason. And we're here saying, no, let's leave this protected because we also need to protect this resource that's not only beneficial to you, but to everyone else. How do you go about sending that message when it's like, I need this now?
Exactly. So that comes into another part that comes into the project that we're looking at right now. There is an incentives program within the project, a micro grant project framework that we're building up. Again, we just had meetings yesterday trying to finalize that. So there's funds within that specifically for the BRW area, and that's trying to promote, again, sustainable agriculture, agro-processing, and these types of activities. So what we're going to be looking at is, again, building awareness and specifically to the grant project, because it's going to be like an incentive program, and trying to get them involved. So it's like whatever you're doing, we want to be able to incentivize that and having you doing it a little bit more sustainably. So that's going to be, we're hoping that we start the disbursement of that before end of this year. So we're trying to bring that in as part of it. So us along with UNDP will be working on issuing those.
I have a question for Tanil, or do you have a way?
No, maybe just briefly, I think you touched on a very important point of sustainability, but development is a journey. If you look at where we had Millennium Development Goals, I don't know if you remember, there were only 8. Now we have the Sustainable Development Goal, which is comprehensive, and it looks at the nature, it looks at water, it looks at a whole holistic way of thinking about development, and that's what this project does too. But it's a journey, and you have to not only say to people, you can't do this or you can't do that. How can you do it better? Also, so you add more value to your own products. That's what we're trying to get out. And the seaweed you visited, who would have thought of that some decades ago? But now it's a livelihood because we are supporting these communities with small grants, just like this is to get new products, to get more value. So it's not I hope it's not you can't do or we punish you. But of course it is, of course, also maintaining the law, but helping communities develop more sustainable solutions for their own livelihoods.
And seeing alternatives that exist.
Exactly. What usually happens is that as users, we look at the short term, and sometimes we cause the most damage in the short term. So really it's looking at, for example, erosion and water availability. If you don't utilize your property for whatever reason in the right manner, you could create an issue for your water availability, which is the pinnacle of whatever activity you term as your livelihood, because for everything we need water. For clothes we need water, drinking we need water, for hygiene. So what we're trying to do is to let them understand that concept of a cycle. And so you do have short-term activities that you can do. There are benefits to restoring your riparian forest, and you will see that in your soil fertility. In terms of agriculture, you keep most of the nutrients on land rather than being washed into the river system. So it's kind of opening their understanding and sort of validating, where are we missing the point in terms of the community and the public understanding why we do these measures. So it's not to say doom and gloom, don't do this, don't do that. As my friend here said, we're trying to see, you know, how can we do it sustainably that you win and we win at the same time? And we, I mean the ecosystem, because really it's ecosystem services we're looking at.
So my question to you, Tenille, when you look at the Belize River watershed and all the municipalities, the rural communities, and Belize City, perhaps at the tail end of it, one would think that perhaps because Belize City is the largest concentrated area, populated area, that our drawdown on these resources may be the most, right? But then you're also looking at agriculture, you're looking at all these other communities along the waterway as well. How do you look at something like that and look at perhaps the best use of the resource itself?
Yeah, I think Isani was a fly on the wall in my office. I just had this conversation. We tend to think that the urban population draws down or uses the most water supply, but in a recent quantification just from my office, and this is not everyone, this is just the ones that are regularized with us. Between 2018 and 2024, it was districts like Orange Walk and Corozal who were pulling the most groundwater resources. So that again validates that we need to do the water master plan. We need to quantify. We need to know where the hotspots are for supply, because that is where you're going to see the greatest impact to the resource. And so and we tend to think surface water, but it's not surface water. It's from the ground. It's from, you know, as pristine as you would like to say it, globally, groundwater is a more refined version of surface water. It's not exposed to the atmosphere. So really, from what we know, we're looking at what would seem to be the most drawdown, but it's really not. It's the complete opposite. And so that highlights why we need to look at this resource comprehensively instead of just on one aspect and ignoring the other.
All right. Well, as we wind down this conversation, let's get a quick idea of what the next steps are from the Ministry of Sustainable Development, of course, in partnership with UNDP.
Sure. So within the next upcoming months, what we're looking at is the development of an enforcement strategy, a comprehensive one. Not, again, highlighting there as the pilot. And then we're also looking at the grant scheme that we want to have out, looking at more awareness campaigns coming out, so training when it comes to farmers within that area with other areas. So those are some of the highlights for the next couple months, at least for this year.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we wish you guys all the best.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
We take a quick break now, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we are going to be joined by the newly appointed Commandant of the Belize Coast Guard, Alma Pinello.
Orthopedic health is very important. Our bodies can be so strong and yet still so delicate. Injury is something that we cannot prevent. We could try to mitigate the risk of extreme injuries. However, it is very, very important that you know and understand your body.
As we get older, our bones are getting softer. It's hard to treat degeneration which already happened. The first treatment is a lifestyle modification and the support of physiotherapists. I am Dr. Sergey Adonin, an orthopedic surgeon, and we are watching Caribbean Medical TV.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
The temperatures are rising, but the prices are dropping fast. From beach days to backyard barbecues, Cellular World has everything you need to stay connected, entertained, and ahead of the curve. Crank up the music with JBL speakers. Watch every play in a crystal clear action on a new Samsung TV, or stay productive with reliable Dell devices, all from your trusted authorized distributor. How low can you go? Try smartphones just for $119, tablets at $129, TVs starting at only $379. Gadgets, computers, printers, appliances, and office equipment at the best price. Visit us today at your favorite Cellular World location, Belize City, Belmopan, Orange Walk, or San Pedro, and find great deals, trusted brands, and a summer you will never forget.
My name is Leomar Langzert, and I'm a teacher, and I bank with Belize Bank Independence Branch. What I enjoy is the safety features that the app offers. I have a sense of not having to worry or be concerned about somebody finding my password and username to sign in the application because of the use of the one-time password. And another feature that I love, that I use the most, is how the app synchronizes with my fingerprint on my device. I enjoy the rapid and easy, seamless process to apply for loans through the Belize Bank, and I don't have to be having too much back and forth to visit or take time to visit the bank. They also start to offer the online applications through the app for loan applications, which I believe is very neat. I would definitely recommend Belize Bank to other teachers because one of all the features and advantages that the app offer, with these online that Belize Bank offered, is basically everything that you can do in the palm of your hand. So I would definitely recommend the bank to other teachers.
Let's all be safe during the rainy season. Belize Electricity Limited reminds you that heavy rains can cause flooding in your neighborhood and on roads. Avoid driving or walking in flooded areas, which can have hidden dangers such as debris and fallen power lines. Belize Electricity Limited cares about your safety. Please stay safe.
And welcome back. We have been joined in studio by Alma Pinello. She has recently ascended to the rank of Commander of the Belize Coast Guard, and quite a feat. You're the first woman to be able to rise in rank to hold this particular position. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
The last time you were here, you were testing our ability with some push-ups.
Right.
But this is one, I think, worth celebrating. We want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We've highlighted your story a little bit on the morning show as well as on the news side. But I think this is worth discussing as well, simply because of the fact that you're the first female to assume this position. And so I think this is an opportunity to show what can happen for women across the board in various fields, and also how you were able to do it too. Let's begin with the work that you do at the Belize Coast Guard and what this new promotion promises to provide.
So this new promotion granted me with a new post. I have been the newly appointed Chief of Staff, which is outside of a command role. So I'm sliding into different territory. It's more of a managerial position where the Chief of Staff acts like that intermediary between the commandant and his general staff. So we have general staff that is admin, logistics, intelligence, operations, and the rest of the Coast Guard. So the Chief of Staff is able to function in that role to bridge that gap between command and the rest of the staff, and to be able to monitor, to evaluate combat and operational readiness, morale, discipline, and that type of role. So to be able to take some off of the commandant's plate and to deal with it this way. It's something new. We didn't have a Chief of Staff before. The Vice Commandant kind of did both roles, but now in this role, the Vice Commandant can focus on strategy and that type of work where it takes away some of that oversight from him. So it kind of gives both of them a little less work. So we're working through it. It's new, so we're still trying to figure out the difference between our roles.
Let's get a bit more personal in terms of being able to delve into what this means. So when we talk about women in maritime spaces, right? I just did the seaweed thing. That's a whole different group of women in the maritime space. We're looking at, in this case, enforcement, right? What does it mean for you to be able to climb the ranks within the BCG to get to where you are?
It means a lot. You know, it's a lot of time and investment that you have to give to the Coast Guard as well to yourself. My last rank, I sat in rank as a lieutenant commander for 6 years, and with that, in that time, I had to make sure that I was able to complete what we call a senior command and staff course, which I did in Taiwan a couple years ago. Be able to adhere to our policies in terms of physical fitness and discipline, and making sure that that never falters, and having the correct recommendations from commandant to be able to move up to the ranks and have the board approve this, and further on SSC approve this promotion. It is the first time that anyone outside of Captain Sobranis and Admiral Bennett has been a commander. So it is definitely a moment that I'm very proud of, and it shows other women that you can too get to that. It's obviously takes a lot of time to go from an ensign all the way up to a commander, because it's 5 ranks to get to where I am, and that's a lot of time. But it's just the commitment and the sacrifice that you give to yourself and to the Coast Guard.
You've been the face of the BCG for quite a while. I'm thinking back, and there hasn't been a story in recent memory where you're not involved at some point or in some capacity where the Coast Guard is concerned. Have you ever considered perhaps, or maybe you have, mentorship? I'm thinking a lot of young women look up to someone like you who's been leading the charge.
Right. It's something that I've done kind of like unofficially, just you know, in coming across, or when we do career days and that type of opportunities, but not necessarily like a purposeful type of mentorship. But it is something that every time that I meet someone or someone wants to speak, I try to give as much info as possible. And I just heard that some of the ladies here yesterday, one of them wanted to be a Coast Guard, and you know, that's something that at least a decade ago that we were trying to work to get towards. So it's something that we as the Coast Guard should be proud of, that we're getting our name out there in terms of the Coast Guard is a viable career choice for men and for women.
You know, speaking of mentorship, and I love that Isani brought that up, because I think that we can really see the role that you play as a leader within the Belize Coast Guard through side initiatives that you are actively involved in. Take, for instance, the Wonder Woman competition that we highlighted the last time you were here. And to see the way that you've been able to interact with women from various forces come together, I think that's worth also highlighting. But honing in on the Belize Coast Guard, what's the environment there like for young women like yourself? You've been able to rise through the ranks and be the first woman to achieve this role in leadership. But are the other women seeing this as a possibility as well?
I believe so. In speaking to some of the officers last week, a lot of the comments were, you know, you're showing us that we can get there too. We have a lot of young women as officers, you know, below the age of 30 mostly, and so they have the opportunity to rise up to that, and given opportunities to go and to study and to pursue the types of degrees that they want, to be able to then get to where they need to be, knowing, okay, I have a time frame of like maybe 6 to 4 more years or whatever it is that they need to get to a certain rank. So I definitely think in the officer bracket that they feel a little more inspired that they can do more. And in the enlisted also, you know, we value women leadership, and we always ensure that we try to make that space for them. Sometimes it's super competitive. We have a Petty Officer Class 3 course going on right now, and I was so concern in the sense that, you know, you have so much competition, but you also need to balance that competence versus, you know, a gender cap, and say, okay, you don't want women to feel like they're just in a place to fill a number. It's very important that they feel competent and that they deserve to be there as well.
So in any organization, there's 2 things that come to mind: either natural progression or succession, right?
Right.
And we always talk about the sky being the limit. Perhaps you're only a few more ranks away from your ambition of becoming the commandant
Actually.
of the Belize Coast Guard. Talk to us about this in terms of your personal dreams and aspirations.
You know, it's something that that gets brought up to me a lot. Bobby and I joke a lot from BDF. I call her Future Admiral. She calls me Future General. She calls me Future Admiral, in the sense that it feels far away, but at the same time, when you look at it, that's only 2 ranks away from me now. So I've gotten a lot of those questions about succession, and I knew you were going to ask me that today. It is something that even my family always tells me, you know, it's going to be that. My friends, everyone that I've met from overseas, be like, we're looking at the future of the Coast Guard. And it's a lot, I won't lie, in terms of that responsibility, because I know what that responsibility is. Being in command circles, being around my ministry and minister CEO, understanding the responsibility to be that one day. It is something that I'm working towards, and it could be within, you know, the next 10 years. So it's not that far away. I've been in the Coast Guard for 12 already, so it's a lot closer than when I started.
Yeah, it certainly is.
I'm looking at this space that while there's what appears to be gender equity within the Coast Guard, those leadership roles have been primarily led by men. So not only would it be a first for you, but you also have to be able to navigate the balance of power, so to speak, that comes along with that.
Yes, you know, I find myself, the higher you go up, the less women you find. In that middle bracket, we do have a lot more women in terms of being able to have different female commanders, sector commanders that are women, operational commanders that are women. But sometimes you do find yourself in a space where you are the only one still. It's not necessarily intimidating, but it is a sobering moment of this is the future, and trying to battle a quote-unquote boys club and those things that sometimes they don't want women in, and that's just the reality of it, and trying to bridge that gap between how it is exactly that you're going to fit in, trying to never lose your own values and who you are is a very important, at least to me, for me to not lose myself as I go up the ranks.
That was one of the things that we highlighted when I visited the base and spoke to you, in highlighting what it was like working in a male-dominated field. But as Chief of Staff, what are some of the things that you're hoping to bring to the staff currently there? Are you hoping for some improvements in terms of the way that they have been conducting their work?
You know, there's a lot of managerial work that I haven't been used to that I can see that we can improve on. Certain things that I can give more emphasis on in terms of things that have to do with the overall morale, and try to help the Command Master Chief, and do more things for the troops, and to be able to give more attention to that, mainly because my focus was all on command or on operations, and you know, that takes up 100% of your time, where you can't really focus on other things, looking at different maybe strategies and policies that we need, and just we haven't had the time. You know, you want to come up with all these things, and writing something new always kind of goes, okay, I don't have time for that right now. I need to deal with whatever is happening on the sea, or it's lobster season now, and you know, all those things, everything kind of takes precedence. Enforcement takes precedence always. So I'll be able to have some more time to see what is really needed, and to try to focus my attention on that.
I have a question for you, Alma, and I'll draw a parallel with myself.
Okay.
Right? So when you move up in rank and you go into a specific area of work, you tend to kind of get removed from things that are happening on the ground.
Right.
So in my case, as a news director, I don't really do much story on my own rear.
Yeah.
My question for you, as the head of administration, chief of staff, you still have time for PT and Wonder Woman and all these other things?
I'm really hoping I could still do it next year. PT is, you know, something that I'm always going to have time for. I've kind of changed the way I do my own thing, and I do it, you know, after the working day. But it's a part of that discipline that you've ingrained in yourself over the years, where that's never going to change. Well, at least for me. But I could relate in that sense, where I'm no longer really in operations anymore.
Yeah.
So it's an active making sure that you remain involved, because I'm still overseeing in terms of the general staff and operations and whatnot, but it'll definitely be something getting used to being removed from that, but also ensuring that I don't stay so far removed that I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, it's a hard place to be in when you're
You don't
solely
wanna-
in one role.
You don't want to alienate yourself
No,
from everything
definitely
else.
not.
All right. Well, Alma, it's a pleasure having you here with us and talking about what this new opportunity means for yourself and also for women here in Belize as well. We are so proud of you.
Thank
we
you.
wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
All right, we take another quick break, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, it's all about Kaj Expressions, speaking on crafting a creative future.
Here's how to access your contribution history on the My Social Security portal. First, go to your browser and type ssbportal.org.bz. Enter your email and password, then click Log In. Once logged in, you'll see your full portal account on the screen. On the left-hand side, you'll notice a drop-down menu for added features. Click on History. Choose Contributions. Read the disclaimer, then click Continue. You'll now see a full window displaying your contribution history. In the table, each row represents a different year. For example, let's look at the year 2024. Click on the row and a detailed breakdown will appear. This breakdown includes your employer's name, your earnings for each month and week, contribution type, the amounts paid, and that's how you can explore the new contribution feature on the My Social Security portal. It's quick, easy, and keeps your Social Security information right at your fingertips. Create your account today.
Oh man, one more scroll and my data is done.
Wait, who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data so you can scroll till your fingers cramp. Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We are moving things along, and this is our third conversation. It's all about Kaj Expression, speaking on crafting a creative future. But if you're wondering who we have on the couch here with us, it is not Khadija Salas. This is perhaps Khadija 2.0. We are joined by Mia Pollard. She's the daughter of Khadija, also a jewelry maker and a partner in a jewelry making business as well. Mia, welcome. It's such a pleasure having you here.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to be here on this show. It's a big thing for me, and I'm really excited to represent my mom's business.
Well, I'll tell you guys, I think it was intentional having Mia here this morning, really speaking about what perhaps the transition will look like in the future, because Khadija is here. I imagine she's watching like a proud mom in the green room, hoping that her daughter does well. And we can already see that you are very involved in the business. I understand that Khadija was recently outside of the country, continuing her training, learning more about jewelry making. She was in Italy, yes? And you were able to man the fort, the many forts across the country. Talk about your involvement in the business and what really inspired you to get involved.
My mom always like encourages me to participate, and she wants me to run the business in the future, and that's something I also want to do. In the business, I usually work at the different stores. If there's not a worker there, I take part in working in the front. I've also been learning how to make jewelry. I think last year in August I took a soldering class in LA, and it was a really nice experience. I'm learning all the stuff that my mom's doing, and I'm really grateful for that.
That is interesting that you're going from one generation of jewelry making to another, and the fact that it's something that you naturally aspire to as well. Because oftentimes kids don't necessarily want to do what their parents have been doing, right? They have their own ambitions and things that they want to accomplish.
And so young too.
Yes. Talk to us about perhaps balancing your responsibilities with school and, of course, being able to walk in your mom's footsteps.
Balancing is a big thing for me because I'm president of the SCA Student Council, so I'm always doing stuff with Student Council. I have my schoolwork, I go to the gym, and I also want to be in my mom's business, so balance is a big thing for me. The way I do that is I'm also on social media a lot, and I know they say as a teenager like you have to focus on school, but I make sure that I could manage my social life with my friends as well as like those important things like gym and stuff in my life. And just balance is a big thing for me. I try to go to sleep early, I eat healthy, like all those stuff. And
at what point did you realize that you really loved making jewelry, same as your mom did? I mean, your mother has been able to share her journey with us on social media as well, highlighting the very first shop that she opened to now having places all over the country, including here in Belize City. But when did you fall in love with it?
As a little girl, we would go to pop-up shops that my mom does, and me and my sister would help her work and help her like talk to the customers. When I was younger, I never really made the jewelry. I just helped her out, like unloading the car and all those basic stuff. But now, as I'm getting older, things are starting to get more serious, and I'm realizing that this is the time that I have to actually like start like looking at everything she does, because time is going, and I really need to get into the business more.
You forgive me, right? And perhaps this is coming strictly from a male's point of view here. I did not know how much of a movement Kaj Expressions has been. Until fairly recently, I went somewhere and I went for the purpose of an interview, and the person said, I can't do the interview without my Kaj earrings.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
And I was like, wow.
Oh my goodness.
I honestly did not know how big of a thing. I mean, I'm familiar with the brand and the fact that your mom has put in so much work into it, but in terms of its reception among other people, I did not know it was such a big deal.
Yes, we're so grateful for all of our supporters. Like, they're a big thing for us. Like, we go to, we've been to a pop-up shop in San Pedro, and we go, and there's just so many like customers who always come. Like, whenever whenever we're in San Pedro, they make sure that they're there. So
you know, I think though, just to add to the point Isani was mentioning, for me, what's so unique about the brand Kaj is the fact that the person you were about to interview didn't say, wait, I can't do this without putting in my earrings. It's, I can't wait
Kaj earrings
without putting in my Kaj earrings. We don't call Kaj's products jewelry. It's Kaj. You know, it's Kaj Expressions. What do you think is it about your mother's business and her branding that has allowed people to really associate the branding as something, as a whole entity? Without separating just jewelry, they have to include that it's a Kaj Expression jewelry.
I honestly think that my mom promotes her jewelry really well, because she shares every single detail on how she gets like to where she's at. You know, she started with like small, and now she just keeps building. So I think that's something that she shares a lot that people get to see, and I think like she doesn't only share her jewelry, she also shares like a bit of her personal life. So those are all things that like build a community, and then people see it as Kaj jewelry, not just jewelry.
Well, you guys have grown so much since then, including yourself. You've gotten older, and your mom has been able to really expand her business. Talk about that growth that you've been able to witness. She has studios all over the country. How many total?
She has 4 different studios all over Belize. The first store was in Placentia. That's where we grew up, and that's where she started. Then our second store was in Cayo, and then Keycocker, and lastly Belize City. So it's been a lot watching her grow all her studios, and I'm really grateful that I got to see that. And yeah, it's just really great.
All right. And you know, going back to the point that Isani mentioned, I think there are signature pieces from Kaj as well that people have come to associate and recognize Kaj Expressions. I remember when there were the fish earrings, when there were the name necklaces and whatnot. But let's talk about some of those signature pieces that have been standout.
Most of our signature pieces would be, I'd say, the lionfish. That's a big thing. We also do name chains, and recently she's been getting into soldering, so that's where you take the fire, and it's just, she has a lot of signature pieces, and they're very unique as well.
All right. Well, let's talk about that recent course that was just taken in Italy. It's, of course, an opportunity for us to see new ways for Kaj Expression to create products. Talk about what that was and what has been the outcome of it.
So she went to Italy for about a month and a couple weeks. Me and my sister were here while she went to go take a Graver Max jewelry making class, which is where you learn how to set stones. So that's like a course you take if you want to get into making engagement rings. So that's something new that we'd be coming out with.
Wow. How long was that course? You said a month?
Yeah,
so
a month
total...
and about 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Sounds a bit intense though.
It was intense.
I understand that it was a total of 200 hours that had to be invested into this course. And that's just one of the products that you'll be seeing there. Really, I saw this video, and I don't think that our producers were able to pick it up, but I saw this beautiful vulnerable video that Khadija posted online, and I think this goes right back to what you were saying, Mia, the way that your mom has been able to take us on the journey with her. She started crying and she was able to capture that, but it was tears of joy after investing so much hours and really just going through all the trials and failures. When she reached that moment of actually seeing something come out the way that she wanted to, there were tears of joy. And I think that's such a beautiful experience to highlight, because oftentimes we look at these entrepreneurs and we see the products that they have on display, but we don't recognize the time and effort that's invested, the trial and the errors that are invested for them to finally reach a point where there's a product that's good enough for them to share with the world, that's good enough for them to put a price on it for the world to be able to purchase. And I think that's why people love Kaj Expressions so much as well, because we're able to see the value in the story and the value in the journey as well. So we're moving things along. Khadijah's back in the country after investing 200 hours at a Graver Max stone setting course opportunity. She is now also offering classes as well. Let's talk about that.
On October 4th, we're planning to launch a jewelry making class where we are going to be teaching soldering and learning how to make handmade pieces. We're super excited for that. We're going to launch the location soon. It's going to be at our Create space. We're going to have different stations, and it's going to be for any age, so we're super excited for that and we can't wait.
All right. Well, we do want to also have you guys know, since you've been tuning in and paying close attention, we do have some giveaways, and if you're a lover of Kaj, or if you're not even aware, you definitely want to get in on this, because there's a lot of great items that will be given away, and they're all based on the conversation that we just had moments ago. So I'm going to call out some of the questions, and I hope you are paying close attention. The first question is, what course did Kaj recently complete in Italy? And this is for a $75 gift certificate redeemable at any Kaj Expression studio. The question is, what course did Kaj recently complete in Italy? please answer in the comment section, and the first person to do so will walk away with that gift certificate. We also have a second question. Do you want to go ahead and read that?
Sure. What's the location of the first Kaj Expressions studio? The
And you
question
also
is,
said that?
Yes. What's the location of the first Kaj Expressions studio?
The location of the first Kaj Expression studio. So you are in 4th form in high school. Do you have any plans for yourself? Do you want to immediately transition into jewelry making after?
I'm thinking about it. I want to go to university in Spain, so that's something I'm thinking about. But I'm not sure if I want to take a year to like learn about the business and do stuff and then go into that, or if I want to do that after university.
All right. Well, this is amazing.
ambitious.
You also have some more questions there as well, yes? Mm-hmm. So let's move things along. We have a total of 5 giveaways for you guys. And also, what was the prize for the second one? Just so people
for
could
the
answer.
second one was a signature style apron and gold fill permanent bracelet.
Wow.
All right.
Guys, I got a permanent bracelet. It was fantastic. It was beautiful.
All right. So the third question is, what's the opening date of Kaj's jewelry classes?
Okay, the opening date, and you also said that as well. I see some people commenting already on the Facebook. So please, producer, let me know who the winners are so that I can let persons know. I see someone already commented the date as well.
Okay, and
so we'll mention the winners after. I just got word.
All right. The prize for that one is a Rome tote bag and the Jade Amour heart necklace.
All right.
Okay. The fourth one is, what's the collection that Kaj Expressions #1 signature?
Yeah, the #1 signature Kaj Expression item. We also spoke about that. We did mention a couple actually. So let's hope you can make a good guess. And finally, there's a 5th giveaway there. Yes.
The 5th question is, how long has Kaj been preparing to start doing the jewelry classes?
I don't think that you said that.
No, I didn't mention
but
that one.
Let's make a good guess. Let's get a good guess in. And there's also one final announcement there, I believe.
Yes, so this is one of the giveaway winners, Andrea Humphreys. The giveaway winner is Andrea Humphreys, and she won a $150 gift certificate.
All right, so this I imagine was associated with the post made earlier when they said that you would be on the morning show. So Andrea, congratulations, you got yourself $150 courtesy Kaj Expression. We see some people here commenting. As I mentioned, I will be notifying you guys after the show who the winners are, so stay locked in with us. Mia, this has been such a wonderful conversation. We can really see how involved you have been, especially for the fact that your mom has been away for a month and you've been really holding the fort down. Just kudos to you, girl. I'm so excited for you.
I really appreciate it, and it's been a really nice experience being here today.
All right. Excellent. We're going to take another quick break, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we are going to be switching conversations into Restore Belize, healing communities with education and intervention.
Make light work lighter and quicker with switch technology from Axi Power Tools. Axi Switch technology breaks the bondage of power cords and grants you the luxury of freedom and precision. Switch one battery across all your Axi line power tools effortlessly, allowing for quick and efficient work. Cut the cords. Choose efficiency with Axi Switch technology. Only at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Oh man, one more scroll and my data is done.
Wait, who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data, so you can scroll till your fingers cramp. Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
As an athlete, orthopedic health is very important. Our bodies can be so strong and yet still so delicate. Injury is something that we cannot prevent. We could try to mitigate the risk of extreme injuries. However, it is very, very important that you know and understand your body.
As we get older, our bones are getting softer. It's hard to treat degeneration which already happened. The first treatment is lifestyle modification and the support of physiotherapists. I am Dr. Sergey Adonin, an orthopedic surgeon, and we are watching Caribbean Medical TV.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Iowa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Iowa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Iowa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Iowa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Iowa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
As an athlete, orthopedic health is very important. Our bodies can be so strong and yet still so delicate. Injury is something that we cannot prevent. We could try to mitigate the risk of extreme injuries. However, it is very, very important that you know and understand your body.
As we get older, our bones are getting softer. It's hard to treat degeneration which already happened. The first treatment is lifestyle modification and the support of physiotherapists. I am Dr. Sergey Adonin, an orthopedic surgeon, and we are watching Caribbean Medical TV.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Welcome back. We are joined by guests talking about several different works being done under the Belize project. We are joined this morning by Kenroy Young. He is the National Youth Director for Restore Small Groups Belize, as well as the Marketing and Public Relations Personnel for the Hope Gala Executive Committee. Also joining us is Ruth Williams in the middle. She is the chairlady for the Belize project, as well as Mr. Marlon Baptist. He's a senior facilitator representing Restore Small Groups Belize. Guys, thanks so much for joining us, and welcome. Welcome back for some of you, actually.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure having you guys here. So there are several projects that we can dive into right now under the Belize project, or several ministries, I guess I should say. Let's talk about the Belize project, what it seeks to achieve as an organization, and then we can narrow down to some of the other ministries.
Good morning. Thank you all for having us here today. Good morning to the audience out there in Belize. The Belize project was founded in 2008. It originated from a passion and a drive by Mr. Ishmael Valleos from the Corozal district, and one of our visiting missionaries from the USA, Mr. Matt Kelton. They started Jacob's Rehabilitation Farm because they wanted to give back to men who had struggles with addiction, substance abuse, and those who have lost their way in life, challenges. You know, all of us struggle with challenges at times in our life, and they're overwhelming, and sometimes we don't know how to cope with them. So Mr. Matt Kelton and Mr. Ishmael Vallejos farmed Jacob's Farm in 2005, and from Jacob's Farm and that initiative that birthed the Belize project in 2008, and this year will be 17 years that the Belize project has been doing ministry work and projects giving back to the community in Belize. And we have 6 board members to date. Miss Ruth Williams here is our chair lady. We have our vice chairman, Mr. Norman Willasey. He's out of the country at the moment. We have Miss Beverly Pook, who is the new secretary of the board. She came on last year as the new secretary. Mr. Andrew Agas, who is a member, and Mr. Ishmael Vallejos, who is one of the founder of the Belize project.
Yes. Several initiatives coming out.
Or treasurer, Mr. Mario Castellanos. Sorry.
Not to forget Mr. Castellanos, very important to bring in the monies. But I remember the work, or I remember one of the significant ministries from the Belize project being the Rehabilitation Center. We've been able to highlight Jacob's Rehabilitation Farm Center on our news. We also spoke about your individual connections to the Jacob's Farm as well, which I think is incredibly inspiring. We don't have enough time to highlight that really, but let's speak about the many ways and the many lives that people have been impacted through these ministries, from Jacob's Farm to the Halfway House to the Kobe Foundation that you guys are also actively involved in, and then the gala that we look forward to on an annual basis as well. The last time you were here, we were talking about the annual gala.
Ms. Ruth, would you like to share on the ministries?
Okay, one of the ministries I'd like to share on is well, as you know, we go the Kobe Foundation, and then we have a humongous graduation, and then if those boys or young men, would like, when they come out, they can go to the rehab center, or now we have Believe in Them, Halfway House. They can go there, you know, for them to be introduced back to society, because some of them have been in there for quite a while, and then when they come out, it's strange. It's like, you know, it's a strange feeling for them. But my main thing is the schools. We are we do in, like, I think 6 schools in Belize City. We do ACC, we do Gwen Liz, right? And that was on board
last year.
Yeah, Gwen Liz, Mad Williams, Sid Vernon, Excelsior, Tubal, and we have 2 more that are on board from IT Vet and the Boys Friend.
Belize Friend School.
Yeah.
So the collaboration of the institutions as well as the Kobe Foundation is an opportunity to share resources with persons there. Yes, I believe one of the resources that is used is the Journey to Freedom book.
Yes, ma'am.
And through that, it's actually several books, there's a graduation process that's concluding after each. Talk about that, the importance of highlighting a journey to freedom and what that means coming from the Belize project.
Mr. Baptiste, he's a senior facilitator.
Okay, good morning. As a senior facilitator doing the Journey to Freedom for the past 7 years, we started with the high schools, and it is amazing knowing how we can reach out to these teenagers. They are going through so much, and coordinating with the programs within the schools, and we have that sacred space that we can share. They open up to things that is bothering them, and as an experienced person, I can understand what they're going through. And I have seen a lot of changes within these men and boys in the high school. They graduated, some of them graduated successfully from Tobal, Wesley College, Youth Hostel, because we were part of Youth Hostel that do the breakout with the Youth Hostel. Some of them fight against the changes, but in the beginning of the program, they don't really like it. But eventually, as the message is being presented and what we all stand for.
What's the message?
The message is hope. hope and healing for a better nation, because then we have been so broken and been discouraged. We come from a dysfunctional family, and their lives are not the same. And as a person who has been transformed into that life of change, everything is possible through God. So we present this message of hope and healing, and they can have that hope that there is a betterment to life than to just see it how we want to see it.
How did you guys get involved with the Belize project? In terms of what drew you to be able to become a part of this outreach? Perhaps we could start with you.
For me, our global director, she's my friend, and I was always, because I'm a retired principal teacher, so he had spoken to you about Mr. McHelton from Nashville. He had come to our school, little multi-grade school in Santana Village, Science Park, and they had adopted us. So they had our feeding program going on right there, and that's how I met Mrs. Beverly Tati, and briefly. And then one time they had a fundraiser in Nashville, and Mr. McHelton had invited me, but for some reason he couldn't be there to pick me up from the airport, so he asked Bev to pick me up, and she got me, but I didn't remember her. But as she saw me, she was there, and I didn't remember her. And then I stayed with her for a couple of days, and then I went back with Mr. Mac, and we talked, and then I became a member. And like 1 year after I became a member, she asked me if I wanted to be the chairperson, the chairlady of the organization. So I said, I'm going to tell the truth. Yes, as long as you're there by my side, to back me up. And for 3 years now, I'm the chairperson. So that's how I got into it, from school, through the feeding program, and then.
What personal rewards or sense of satisfaction do you guys get from being able to play your part in society, especially when you're looking at, in your case, Mr. Baptiste, young men who are, or grown men for that matter, who are going through this particular journey?
It's a very good question. What I get from it is that we just got through a training last week, Saturday. What I get from it is that the passion to be of help. Because the same help that was offered to me, I can give back. But I cannot give back what I don't have. It's amazing to see how that lives can be transformed just by an encouragement, sharing your personal experiences and what you've been through. And these teenagers can adapt to what you have been through, and they can avoid what you have been through, such as using alcohol and drugs, because many people is heading in that direction. And now we are seeing our teenagers going to prison, hospital, or the burial ground. And I always tell them, there's only 3 places we can go if we don't get a grip on our lives now, and if we as the experienced person doesn't try to hold our younger generation together. That's where they're going, either prison or the burial ground. And it's a waste of life being in prison. It's very wasteful to be in prison, because there is nothing in prison that you will want to go and just waste your life. Spend 10 to 15 years of your life in prison. What do you achieve? Just programs are in the prison.
And you can't get it back. Once that time has elapsed,
it's gone.
Can't get it back.
It's gone.
Kenroy, I really want for us to take an opportunity to highlight how this particular organization and the many ministries have also shaped your life in a way that you're able to now give back to young people as well as the National Youth Director.
Well, my journey with the Belize Project and Restore Small Groups Belize started in the Belize Central Prison when I was serving a sentence, and when I went to prison, I thought I got a long sentence, 11 years, and the superintendent of the prison at that time, Ms. Tahira Ahmad, was taking a walk in the building where I lived, and I told her, I said, Ms. Tahira, I can't take it in this building, you know, it's like 23 hours a day lockdown. I have some education, a little bit, I know I could be useful doing something outside of this cell. And she said, well, it doesn't work that way, young man. You'd have to go through programs because you're a convicted maximum security inmate, so you'd have to go through a rehabilitation programs first. Then from there, we could think about employment and skills training in the prison. And so I was like very rebellious at that time. Programs, I was like, no man, I didn't come here for a program. I came here to serve my sentence.
Yeah.
And for a while, I had that rebellious part in me, didn't want to do the programs, and I was like, all right, after 6 months I relented because I see she wasn't going to give me a job serving an 11-year sentence. So I said, okay, I'll go to the program, and I did the main program in the prison, which was at the Ashcroft Rehabilitation Center, the ARC. I went there and I did my 3 months, and in that 3 months, dramatic changes happened in my life and in the way to charter a new way how I think. Because many of the decisions that I made that were negative was because of the thought patterns that I had and the core beliefs that I had about myself and the way I viewed the world. So it was a very tumultuous time in that 90 days at ERC. It's a very intense program at that time when I was doing it in 2012 under the then director, Mr. Juan Vega. And man, me and him even had physical altercations because of my rebelliousness in the program. But because of his teachings and because of his care for men to literally change and the impact that Mr. Woods wanted to make on Belize with the programs in Colby, I said, you know something? I will settle myself, I will take the program, and I will just school out and stop being rebellious. And just saying that in my mind, I practiced it and I let it go and it released. And then from there, my entire, practically nearly about 9 years out of my sentence, I worked off and on in the rehabilitation section of the prison, in the school system at the prison, and in the programs. And the programs started to transform the way I think, the way how I operated, change my behaviors, and allowed me to take a different view on life. And I joined the Journey to Freedom program in prison that is offered by the Belize Project and Restore Small Groups. And that's when the impact came in the Journey to Freedom program to do more for others. I became a facilitator after being an intern, and I worked my way up in the prison from being a first-time facilitator to senior facilitator to program coordinator under this then CEO, Mrs. Tara Blanco, for rehabilitation and education in the prison. And I continued working with others in other departments of the rehabilitation. And today, upon my release from prison, I was working at the LIU. And because of the great work that I was doing with the LIU as the social media ambassador for their sporting programs, Ms. Beverly Tati, the global director from Nashville, Tennessee for Restore Small Groups International, she remembered me because I reached out to her a day talking to her about something, and she said, Kenway, would you like to be a facilitator for Journey to Freedom in Belize? And I was like, that wasn't on my card.
Imagine that full circle
Yes.
moment though. I have goosebumps under my sleeves.
That wasn't on my card to be a facilitator out here.
Yeah.
And you know, the first thing flashed in my mind was, how much would I make?
Money.
You know, but then she taught me, and then I learned and I thought about it. It's not about the money. It's about the passion that I have to do what I do.
Yeah.
I've been facilitating off and on in the prison for 9 years. Then I've been doing it out here since I've been released for the past 3 years. So you would say, me and Mr. Baptist, you would say we are products of what the efforts and the Belize Project want to spread across Belize in awareness of bringing healing and hope, because you ask him what's the message.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of us walking around and we lack hope to believe in another day. And a lot of us wear masks and we're really not, we put on the mask that we're happy, but inside we're hurting and we have so many pains and anguish. And the Belize Projects program, the main aspect of our program, where we focus on the rehabilitation and reintegration back into society for men and women, that's the key part, and giving them love. Because I've learned something. You can do all the programs, you can facilitate them, you can take them as an intern, but those who are broken inside and looking for more, it's all about love, you know. A lot of people were neglected by love. I've always asked some of my male students, when last have you received a hug from your dad, or you hugged your dad? Raise your hand. And that's like 1 out of 30 would raise their hand. So many times. So when I'm there with them in these sessions, I try to share love with them and have them know that I am there for them. I will go the extra mile, or more than the extra mile, 10 miles, to help someone, because a pastor taught me in prison that don't you give up, because God didn't give up on you, so don't give up on others. And I've been through a lot, so knowing what I've been through and what I put others through, and they still show me love at the age where I am today and never turned on me, because you know the saying is like, I could put you out in the cold and turn my back on you. No one ever did that to me. God always sent destiny helpers along the way to restore my faith, restore my healing, and restore my happiness.
That's such a powerful testimony, Kenroy. Wow. I always get goosebumps whenever I hear you speak about what your journey to freedom in the metaphorical but also literal sense has looked like as well. I think it's such a beautiful story, and it's a perfect example of how the Belize Project is changing lives through the various ministries that they have as well. And so we're here to talk about some of the projects that are being funded by the gala that's coming up in August, and we will talk about that a little bit later on in the year as well. But you guys kind of highlighted some of the various ministries that need support, that needs funding for it to continue as well. If persons would like to support that, how can they do so?
Currently, we're on a drive doing solicitation. Miss Ruth here, the cheerleader, and some of the other members on our team, we're doing a solicitation drive for the Hope Gala. The Hope Gala is where the seed money comes from for majority of the programs that we sponsor, although we have pledges throughout the year from other persons and individuals and companies, and also from our partners in USA. And the Belize Project, to get in contact with the office, it's located in the Pachacan village in the Corozal district, but our cheerleader here she's very mobile. She's all over the country. Miss Ruth is the real strength and the backbone of the Belize Project, or non-profit organization. You can reach out to telephone numbers 501-610-9345 or 501-636-8147, or you can email us at thebelizeproject2@gmail.com. And if you'd like to know more information than what we've shared here today, you can also visit our website at www.hopegala.bz.
All right, and as you can see, the flyer is on display there. We are talking about the Hope Gala as early as July for the upcoming date in October. You have enough time to put aside $10, I don't know, every payday, and you'll be able to have $100 in time for the Hope Gala. What can people expect when they go to this gala? Is it just simple entertainment and networking?
The main attraction at the Hope Gala is the testimonies.
Okay.
The live testimonies from those who have been involved in the various ministries that we serve at Colby Foundation, in the high schools, at Dorcas House.
Dorcas House is
a women's shelter.
Okay.
That we serve, a ministry that we serve. Also in BIT, the Believe in Them Halfway House, is now coming on board. Well, I've just received some great news from Mr. Baptist over there that they've received the Meadownights house that will be on the land situated for the opening of BIT. And also we serve...
there's Flourish 31 here as well.
Flourish 31 is one of our entrepreneurship partners. That's one of the businesses that received seed and grant money from the Belize project, because we do also believe in economic development and entrepreneurship. And Flourish 31 has really grown over the years that it's opened. It's really grown and expanded in the products that they're now making and offering. And also, it's not only about the products there from Flourish 31, it's about the impact it's making in the lives of the women who work within Flourish 31, giving them a sense of being and resiliency and independence to know that they're doing something. They were once broken, they were once misguided, but now they're here with purpose, producing products that are on sale.
Amazing.
Yeah, what they make, you know, the jeans, they cut the jeans and they make handbags from it, and they also they buy these white tennis shoe, like what they use for carnival, and they paint it, and then they're selling it. It's a women's group.
All right.
It's headed by a female.
That project with the shoes at Flourish 31 is dubbed as soles, as in shoe soles, for the soul.
Beautiful. This has been such a wonderful conversation. I'm so moved by the work that's being done through the Belize project, and I continue to commend you guys for sharing your testimonies, and using your stories to help other people as well. It's such a impactful, I think, job that's being done here, and I can't wait to see how it grows even further. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we hope to have you back a couple months from now to talk about Hope Gala again. Alrighty, don't go anywhere, guys. We have to take our final break, but I believe we still have some time to probably jump into a hot topic discussion. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
This is the new era of the Mexican Caribbean. A whole spectrum of colors and hues, multi-dimensional cuisine, holographic beaches. The true new era is within you.
One more scroll and my data is done.
Wait, who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data, so you can scroll till your fingers cramp. Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
We at Full Tech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Full Tech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Full Tech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
And welcome back. Before we go, we just wanted to have a brief conversation about what's taking place today. So while we won't be able to debate our hot topic this morning,
we have spoken about it though. I believe it was just last Friday that Paul and myself and you guys joined in on the conversation dissecting the bill.
So what's going to be taking place this morning at 10 a.m. at the Swift Hall is a public consultation where the government and various other stakeholders, and an invitation to you guys to attend, to have a robust discussion on what's the 13th Amendment, what it seeks to accomplish, and of course the pros and cons, right? So in essence, what you and I would have been doing at this point would have been arguing those very points. But why is it important? It is important simply because there's a lot of information and a lot of interpretation of that information out there. So as far as we've been covering in the news, as far as we've been on the show as well, and public discourse, people have their own interpretation of it. Someone was asking yesterday, for instance, it sounds like it's a UDP thing. It's not a UDP thing. It's an all of Belize thing, and how perhaps one stands to be affected either way, right? I think what has amplified this discussion is the recent spike in violence in Belize City, right? More so the unfortunate deaths of Miss Evadne Jones and her son Luke, right? And the idea that while yes, the government and its relevant ministries are looking for a way to address the crime situation, you don't want to create a situation, on the other hand, where people's rights, people's basic rights are being impeded upon as well. So that's the reason why this conversation is so very important, right? And so how does this trickle into what you can expect from our newscast later? Well, this will be central to what we will put out there this evening in terms of the feedback from the public.
As we mentioned, this consultation takes place at the Swift Hall here in Belize City, and it starts at 10 a.m. There's an open invitation, so you can come simply if you are interested in hearing more about it. As Isani mentioned, it's an opportunity for you to have a better understanding of what the amendment is. It's also an opportunity for you to voice your own concerns. And of course, I'm hoping to hear what the concerns are and what the opinions are, and we will be providing that in our newscast as well. And
certainly the conversation continues.
It does.
So tomorrow morning we will be joined by guests to discuss this very topic. It's a national discourse, so that means we need as much weigh in, good, bad, indifferent, however you guys feel about it, get in on the conversation.
Absolutely. But we got to wrap things up now. It's been a wonderful morning with you guys, and of course with the guests who joined us as well. Thank you to them. As we wrap up, we do want to say if anyone's celebrating a birthday today, it is July 16th. Happy birthday to you. And if you'd like to give a birthday shout out, or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can send us an email at oye@channel5belize.com. You can also catch us on Facebook, that's Open Your Eyes BZ, as well as Instagram for behind-the-scenes content, that's OYE Belize. You can even call us or text us on our OYE phone number, that's 675-2555. I also want to remind you guys that we will be reaching out to the persons who won the 5 giveaways from the Kaj Expression conversation that we just had. Those are the persons who commented on our Facebook page. So congratulations to you guys. We'll be reaching out to you. But we'll see you again tomorrow when you open your eyes
To start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
And your hearts open.
Have a wonderful Wednesday, Belize. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.